Welcome to part 7 of the Feedback Masterclass with Mote. In part 7 of the series, we're going to jump into actually using Mote and exploring what audio feedback looks like using the Mote Google Chrome extension. Before we do that, and we jump into a number of different environments and do some live demonstrations, what I'd like to explore are some of the challenges that are connected to audio feedback. And these challenges are really from previous history of educators using possibly outdated technology that presented challenges and obstacles around high quality audio feedback. So in this specific case, students are referring back to specific audio comments because the idea is embedded in the larger file. So this is one of the challenges of the historical use of audio feedback when we're using something like a cassette tape or a longer MP3 file, where students would have to wade through that long audio file, and then they have to make the connection between the location in their work and what's being said in that longer audio file. That problem is remedied with Mote. Let's keep moving forward. So students struggle to connect the audio comments to the text of their work. That's that same thinking behind if we record a long MP3 file and simply upload it and make the student listen through the entire file, they need to pause and find the location of the work, as opposed to the processes I'll show you in Mote, where the audio is embedded directly into the context of their work, whether that be a comment in the margin or actually in the body of their work, below a paragraph that they've written or below an image that they've added to a presentation. So what we're going to look at in terms of creating audio feedback with Mote is three core environments in the Google Workspace environment. We'll examine Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Classroom, which comprise a really high percentage of where all work gets done in this digital space. So these outdated audio practices make it really hard to connect audio comments to the text, thinking about cassette tapes. Visual learners also struggle with audio only. So these two obstacles here of long audio files and then connecting the audio to the location, all of that is remedied with Mote. Mote solves this problem because what we can actually do with the Mote extension is embed all that audio directly in the work. So students can now refer back to specific audio comments in their work because they're embedded in that larger file. That's all resolved with Mote. We can create comments in the margins. Students have access to a transcript. It also increases the likelihood of students going back to play back these audio comments because instead of playing back a 4, 5, 6, or 7 minute file and not being sure where to get the targeted feedback from their teacher, they can now open their assignment, go to the specific introductory paragraph, the closing paragraph, slide 3, slide 5, and they can see exactly where that feedback has been provided, which increases the likelihood of them revisiting the feedback and playing it back when needed. So in support of feedback via technology, the ability to create an audio feedback bank that can be reused for any student, this makes the process of using Mote for feedback that addresses an existing problem. The time to provide feedback, the quantity, and the quality, that's all solved. So one of the things I'll demonstrate is how you can use the Mote pad, which is the Google Chrome extension, to record your audio and then save that audio to your Mote book, which is a library of audio feedback that you can reuse. So it might take a little bit of time to build out your audio library in your Mote book, but now once you have this really high quality, frequently used feedback, you can add that again and again into student work, different student work, or repetitively in an assignment. So we're going to look at, like I said, core environments, Google Docs and Google Slides, the two core locations. What you can do with Mote is leave targeted 90-second audio feedback in the margin in the comments of either one of these files. This allows you to provide context for your audio feedback and have it tied directly to student work, which can be connected to the whole goal we've been explaining all along, is kind of diminishing that gap between what students know and what we need them to know. What we can also do with Google Docs and Google Slides is that students can play that feedback back as needed, and that can help them make progress towards that learning target. So when a student opens up their document, they don't simply open the document and then click a longer MP3 file or play a longer cassette tape, which I'm assuming is not going to happen at this point. They can open up their file and go, oh yeah, I need to pick up where I left off and play back this bit of audio because I'm working on my conclusion at this point, and that audio from the teacher is embedded directly with the conclusion. Now in the Google Slides environment, which we'll demonstrate in a minute, the audio files can be added directly inside of the Google slide itself, By having the Chrome extension installed, there's a Mote button in Google Slides that lets you record and embed audio. And then finally, the third core environment is Google Classroom. So when students have turned in an assignment, there's an embedded option to provide private feedback to the student. And with the Google Chrome extension of Mote installed, you can actually make that audio feedback right in that kind of back and forth environment with creating, distributing, and then receiving work from students. So with that, I say we jump right into it. And what we're going to do now is start with a Google Doc environment, and I'll demonstrate 3 ways to add audio into a Google document. So here we go. We have an example here of a Google document, and this example is the first one here we have. Here's an example of student work in a Google document that you can receive audio feedback in the comment section. So to do this, make sure that you have the Mote Chrome extension installed, which I do in my Chrome browser. We can highlight where we'd like to leave the comment. It can be a portion of the sentence. It can be simply where your cursor is or the entire sentence. I'll tap on the comment section, and here's the option to record my voice. Here's an example of high quality audio feedback using the Mote Chrome extension. We'll just let that process, and when it's ready, we will drop in our comment, and this is how it will appear for the learner. Let's show you another example of what this can look like. Notice here it says, here's an example of an embedded audio card directly in the body of the document. Another path we have, if we'd like to, I could say, click here for feedback. What I'm going to do now is, instead of using the comment section like I did previously, what I'm going to do is click on the Mote Chrome extension in the top right corner of my browser, and then this is the Mote pad. This allows me to record using the Chrome extension. So watch what I'll do here. I tapped on the Mote icon, and now I'm recording directly in my browser using the Chrome extension. So here's another example of high quality audio feedback. I will simply click done. Here is the audio that I've created. I will copy the link to that audio, go into my document, and I could either paste the link or highlight and then insert the link to my audio feedback in this text. It would also work, like I mentioned, if we were to simply paste the link to that audio. What it looks like for the learner is when they click on that link, they will get an embedded audio card directly in their work. And it works for an embedded link. It works for the direct link to that audio file. So the last thing we can do here, and this is a really powerful way to create high quality audio feedback and then use it again and again and again, is we have a model here. It says, here's an example of using the Mote book to leave audio feedback that has already been recorded using the Mote pad. So let me show you this process. I'm going to tap on my Mote pad and begin recording. Here's an example of high quality audio that I would likely use over and over and over again. Maybe there's a high quality feedback that I'd like to construct around students crafting a thesis statement or embedding a quote in their work, or I can see a repetitive obstacle students are facing, and I can remedy that challenge by creating audio, but I know I'm going to be using it over and over again. I will hit done. So here is my recent audio file. I'm going to tap on that, and it brings me into the option where I can edit the transcript if I'd like to do that. What I would really like to do is click Save As. I get to name my audio file, and that will save to my Notebook. So I will call this Feedback Demo 1. And now that has been saved as Feedback Demo 1. When I'm ready to leave that feedback, and I've created my whole library of audio feedback, I can highlight the student work, insert my comment in the margin, and instead of simply tapping to record, I'm going to tap and hold. And notice if I hover over the Mote icon, it says click to record or hold for Notebook. So I'm going to tap and hold, and notice my Notebook pops up. I have Feedback Demo 1. I have another previous note in my Notebook called Thesis Feedback. And if I tap Feedback Demo 1, it's going to add directly into my feedback comment. So I don't have to record a new feedback comment every single time. I can reuse the really high quality ones that I've saved in my notebook library. So there's 3 ways to add audio feedback inside of a Google document. Let's jump into Google Slides. We can do the same thing in this environment. If this is the student work and I'd like to comment in the margin, simply tap on the work, the element. Here's the text that I'd like to insert the comment. I will go Insert, Comment, and then in the sidebar, the same thing as the Google document. I simply tap to record, and here's my audio file embedded in the comment section of the Google Slides. We'll tap Done, Comment, and now the students can play back my feedback. Now, the other thing that we can do, if you'll notice, with the Google Chrome extension installed, we now have a Mote icon that appears directly inside of Google Slides. If I use that option, then it's going to embed an audio file directly in the slides that the students can play back. So we'll tap on the Mote icon. We get a really clear pop-up. Click the Mote icon to begin. Now I have 90 seconds for it to record my voice, and when I'm done recording, the audio file will embed directly inside of Google Slides. Notice also we have the option to pause as we're creating our audio feedback if we need to get our thoughts together or figure out exactly what we'd like to say next. When we're done, tap the check icon, let the audio process. Mote will work its magic in just a moment, and now we can insert that file. Now, when this file drops into the slides, students will see that embedded directly in their slides, and they can click to play that back. We can resize, move this around, and there's my embedded audio. So there's 2 ways to have audio as feedback inside of Google Slides. The last demonstration we will do is inside of Google Classroom. So I'm in a Google Classroom environment right now. I've opened up an assignment, and you can see I have my demo student inside my class. Now, in the very bottom of the page here, what we have the ability to do is leave audio feedback. You'll notice on the bottom of Google Classroom, we have a section to provide a private comment. If you have the Mote Chrome extension installed, you will also see the Mote icon embedded in that private comment box. I can tap the Mote icon. And now I'm recording directly in Google Classroom. Notice we have the option to pause if we need to get our thoughts together, and when we're done, we simply tap the check mark to complete that recording process, and it stays directly inside Google Classroom, privately to that student. So now we have options of leaving audio feedback in the body of their work, in the comment section of their work, contextually tied directly to the work they've created, or as an audio comment inside of Google Classroom before they open up their assignment. We'll tap Complete. Mote will process the file, we'll send that through, and now it will appear as an embedded audio card directly inside Google Classroom. So we've made it through video 7 of the Feedback Masterclass. I hope this process was helpful. You have a really solid idea on how to use Mote across 3 core environments in the Google environment. And when you're ready, and you're ready to move on to part 8, go ahead and click on the link to part 8, the final installment of this Feedback Masterclass brought to you by Mote.